皆さんこんにちは、ゆかりです。今日は、以前いただいたリクエストのビデオになります。リクエスト内容はですね、英語でのアルバイト面接の動画をアップしてもらえないでしょうか。この方は今度外国人が経営している、お客さんも海外の方ばっかりのバーで面接があるそうです。ということで今回は、スチューさんと一緒に英語でのアルバイトの面接のレッスンビデオを作ろうと思います。設定はですね、私がカナダに来てワーホリビザを取ってワーホリビザで、カフェで働こうと思って、カフェのアルバイトの面接に来たっていう設定です。
How this will work is I will ask Yukari-chan some questions, and so they will be similar to questions asked for this kind of job.
Okay.
They're pretty common questions for interviews. Okay, ready?
はい。
First question. Can you tell me about yourself?
Okay. After graduating from college, I started to work with children. Mainly I taught English for them. After working with children for 7 years, I decided to come to Canada, and I came in May. Since then I've been studying English here. I like cooking, I like watching movies, I like nature, to go out, like walking many places.
And I'm a YouTuber.
ちょっと待って。
Okay, that's good though. That's enough. Like, so I think maybe you're giving a little bit too much of a history of yourself and not really much about yourself. That question, can you tell me about yourself? It sort of means like, what's your personality, or, you know, what are you doing in your life right now?
Hobby?
Not just hobby, but like, who are you? Like, what is your situation in life right now? So a good idea, a good way to answer this question is just sort of say, okay, well, I'm from Japan. I've been in Canada for 6 months now. I'm here on a working holiday visa. I used to work with children, but now I'm sort of trying to get into something more related to English, or maybe something more related to a different field, something like that. So don't make it too specific. If you make it too specific, it sounds like a history, and then it's not really answering the question. The question is a little bit more about your personality, who you are, and what you're doing right now. Not so much like, what is your history?
And not like, what is your hobby as well?
You can say your hobbies, but you know, I mean, it's a little bit childish to answer like, can you tell me about yourself with like, well, my hobbies are this, this, and this. It's just like, it's a little bit too simple to answer the question in that way. You can say I'm interested in, I'm interested in nature. That's why I'm in Vancouver. Maybe, I came to Vancouver because I'm interested in nature. And that sounds a bit more interesting.
So what is like best answer or ideal answer?
Okay, so if I were you, the answer that I'd probably give, I'd say, okay, well, I'm Japanese, and I moved here about 6 months ago. I used to work with children, but now I'm looking to change my career. I want to work in something related to English. I've moved to Vancouver because I'm interested in nature. I love the water, I love the mountains. I'm looking for a new opportunity. That's about where I'm
Yay.
Well, English is my native language. Okay, question number 2. Okay, what is your visa situation? When did you come to Canada, and what have you been doing?
I came to Canada 6 months ago with visitor visa, and I went to ESL school.
I went to an ESL school.
I went to an ESL school, and I did some volunteer work at a daycare. And I just got working holiday visa, so I'm looking for job opportunity.
Yeah, okay, good answer. I think so. That kind of question, what is your visa situation? It's a very specific question. It just they're asking you to make sure that you're legal to work, that you have the right kind of visa.
And then like how long can you work?
Yeah, that kind of a thing. So maybe you would say, I have a 2-year work holiday visa. I came here 6 months ago. Maybe I have a year and a half left on my visa. I'm looking to stay here long term. Maybe you can say that. So more specific answers for that. So good English to use. I think Yukari's English there was really good.
Yay.
Just watch your articles.
Always.
Yeah. Question number 3 is, why do you want this kind of job?
When I was 19, I worked at a coffee shop in Japan, and I really like to serve some drinks and communicate with many customers from different countries, even in English. And it was really busy store, but I really like to work with my coworkers and that situation. So I think if I work at a coffee shop here, I think I can use my experience.
Okay. Yeah, not a bad answer, I don't think. Grammar is a bit bad. But good answer, mostly. So that kind of a question, why do you want this kind of job, is asking you sort of what do you understand about what type of work this is. So we're talking about a coffee shop, so dealing with customers and dealing with making drinks and that kind of thing. Like to say that you're interested in that kind of work is a really good way to answer that question. So yeah, giving a couple specific examples of the kinds of things you think you'll be doing and why you like that kind of work is a good idea. So I think your answer was quite good there. Yeah.
So like, what can you answer if you were me?
I would probably say, well, I actually used to work in a coffee shop back in Japan, and I really enjoyed interacting. Interacting is a good word. I really enjoyed interacting with the customers, and I didn't mind how busy it got. In both of those examples, you're talking about one aspect of the job, like it's busy, and you don't mind that. Or it's busy, and I like busy job. I like to be busy. It's like, if you're somebody who likes being busy, then working at a coffee shop is a really good idea. So that kind of an answer. And I think that in general, when you're answering interview questions, like, don't answer, I mean, this is probably the same in Japan, but like, don't answer it really in a really short way, and don't say too much either. Like, try to keep it about 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah, like, just be brief.
It's hard.
Busy people, They've got lots of work to do. Okay, so next question is, why are you interested in working at this coffee shop?
Actually, I live near here, and I often use this coffee shop, and I like the atmosphere, and so I thought I wanted to work here.
Okay, so good answer. I think maybe it's a little short. Yeah. Like, just because it's nearby is, I don't know.
But I said I like the atmosphere. So actually, when I had an interview at a Japanese restaurant where I worked before in Vancouver, he asked me kind of the same question. Why did you apply for this restaurant? Kind of question. And then I said, I've never been there.
Never been to the restaurant?
No. But I said, because I came here before and I really like the karage.
So you lied.
That restaurant has kind of like sports kind of bar, like with many screens, and then Japanese style. So I said I like this kind of Western Japanese style restaurant.
So I think that's a really good example because you're giving specific things about that shop.
Okay.
That's like if you just say, well, it's nearby and I like the afternoons. It's sort of like why do you want this job? Because I need some money. You know, you need to make it specific to that location. So if it's a coffee shop, maybe you say, oh, I love the, you know, I get a hot chocolate here every Friday, and I really like the hot chocolate here. It's, you know, made me fall in love with this coffee shop. I don't know, something, you know, but that question, I think it's the best way to answer that is to, like you did for the restaurant. So you give a couple specific things. Yeah, that's probably the best for that.
Okay.
Okay, next question. The next question is, what applicable experience do you have? No experience. So also a good idea in interview, like, don't just go.
No, because this is video too. Cut. So when I worked at a coffee shop, the shop was really busy and many people were lined up at the cashier. But what? We talked about business restaurant already. What should I
Okay,
talk
so that's a good point though. Okay, so it's like if you've already mentioned something in the past, then you can use a little expression to kind of reference that. You can say, like I mentioned before, I worked at a coffee shop that was very busy and blah blah blah. So
but I shouldn't say the same things.
But no, that's actually kind of the point. Is that like it's still important, right? Like you mentioned it before, you said in the past about your history, but they're asking you what applicable experience do you have. You can't just say, like I said before. It sounds rude.
Super rude.
Right? So you have to use a slightly formal expression to reintroduce that idea. So, like I mentioned before, I worked at a coffee shop in Japan. It was really busy there, so I'm used to dealing with lots of customers. You know, you don't have to explain in detail because it's the second time, but you should, you know, make a little sentence that references that idea again. So that's a nice little expression you can use. But it's a good point though, because that'll often happen in an interview. Is that you will say,
like they ask similar questions.
Yeah, it'll be similar.
But you can add some more explanation.
Yeah, you can add some more details. Or, you know. But this kind of question, what kind of applicable experience do you have? What that means, applicable, means like anything in your life that's related to this situation.
So not only coffee shop experience.
Yeah, that's important. Not just coffee shop. Applicable means anything you think is important to mention right now, say something. Anything, you know? So, you know, I mean, if, you know, you're used to getting up early for whatever reason, you know, you can say that because it's applicable. So maybe you say something like, well, I used to get up really early because I was in the military and we got up at 5 a.m. So I'm really used to working hard at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's good for a coffee shop.
Oh, because sometimes you have to wake up early.
Sometimes coffee shops open at 5:30 in the morning, right? To get the early. So if you have some experience that relates to being, or, you know, or late at night, or anything, right? Like, other types of applicable experience for a coffee shop might be anything where you're talking to people, talking to customers. So if you worked at a clothing shop, or if you worked at any kind of a restaurant, or you worked in, like on the phone, you were talking to people all day, or something like that. That's applicable experience. Next question. Next question is, what days or hours are you available to work?
I'm available anytime, from early morning to late at night.
I have no life. I have nothing going on ever. Please hire me.
I can work on weekends.
I have no friends. Just need a job, please. Give me the job!
But I didn't have anything. I could work anytime.
Okay, so a nice way, if you have nothing in your schedule, you have nothing, a nice way to say that is, I'm okay with flexible working hours. Like I say, I'm comfortable working at different times. This is where like subtlety in meaning kind of becomes important, because if you just say anytime is fine, it makes you sound a little bit like a loser.
Loser?
Yeah.
Why?
Because, like, think about it. If you're the boss of a restaurant, like, do you really want to hire somebody who has, like, no social skills or, like, no interest, no hobbies, no life? Just like, what do you do? Nothing. But, so, it's by saying, I'm flexible with my working hours. I don't mind working on weekends. It sort of means that, like, okay, like, I'm okay to work for you on the weekends, but if I don't have a work shift, then maybe I can make plans. It makes you sound like a more interesting person. It makes you sound a bit more like, you're doing things in your life.
Okay.
Makes you sound better, basically, If you're too honest, maybe it doesn't make you look so good.
I'm flexible.
Yeah, yes. But if you just say I'm flexible, it means, like you can stretch. So, I'm flexible with my working hours. Okay? Important difference. And another one, so I don't mind working on weekends. Okay. Another good expression for this kind of a question is to say, I'm available to start work immediately. Okay? Because sometimes you might be in a situation where, it's going to be 2 weeks before you finish your current job or before you get your visa or something, But if you're available now, like you could start tomorrow, then, you can say, I'm available to start immediately. Okay? So a couple expressions there that might help. Okay? Oh, and one last piece of general advice for job interviews is that you want your English to sound a little bit more formal than casual. If you're too casual, the person will maybe think you're not taking it seriously. So you should be more formal than less formal. Okay? Better. So whatever formal English you know, try to use it for job interviews. You knew that. Okay. Congratulations, you got the job.
Yay! At a coffee shop.
Yeah.
So you have to think about what you can talk at the interview beforehand.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Not like me. Don't go to the interview without any idea.
Yeah.
ということで今回は英語での面接についてのお話をさせていただきました、これから面接に行く人はぜひこのビデオを参考に頑張ってくださいということで今回のビデオ楽しんでもらえたらいいねとチャンネル登録お願いします。ではまた皆さん次回お会いしましょう。バイバーイ。